Hey guys, hope everybody's been well, and today we're going to do a little Fujifilm camera talk. There's one camera that I've been wanting for a while, and it's a Fuji X100. Currently, if you can find one, it's the 5 version. I had a chance to buy a black one. I held off because I really wanted the silver, and I wasn't paying that crazy markup that most people were asking. So I figured I'd wait, and then one of the things I was hoping that the new X100 would have is IBIS. And this is just planning to be my vacation and everyday camera. And finally, Fujifilm is going to release it. Now, this will be released, I'm in the Eastern Standard Time, so it'll be Monday night going into the morning of Tuesday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's when Fuji's supposed to announce this in their summit. I think it's in Japan, so that's like, Japan time equivalent's probably noon or something like that. But we are finally going to see it, and typically how Fuji will do it, they announce it at the summit. They will have a lot of people, the influencers will have it already doing reviews. They drop the reviews, but as soon as the summit and the camera's announced and the summit's over, that's when you'll see it on pre-order. So this is a highly sought after camera. A lot of people couldn't get the X100 version 5 like me, and they've been waiting for the next version, the 6. It's going to call the X100 6 in the Roman numerals 5 and a 1. And guys, if you want this camera, you need to pre-order it pretty early. Unfortunately for me, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I have to work the next day, but I am planning on waking up, watching the summit, and then doing a pre-order. So let's go over some of the things that it'll have the same as the X100V and what it is going to have different, or at least these are rumored specs. So I'm going to summarize multiple rumors, and this is over at the FujiRumors.com site. I'll leave a link. The guy's pretty good about the rumors. And as we're leading up to the release date, a lot of it's kind of getting locked down. And he says trusted sources. When he says trusted sources, they're usually not wrong. I haven't seen one that was wrong. So here's what we can expect. What's the same? The EVF, and I'm going to say the same as the current X100V. The same EVF, 3.69 million dots. The same battery, it's the NPW126S. A lot of people don't like that. Hold on, let me grab one. But for me, I got 8 of them. They're cheap. And really, because I have an XT2 and XT3, it's one of these little smaller batteries. Not that big of a deal. Hopefully it'll last decent because IBIS usually uses a little bit more battery, but the new processors and such can use less, so hopefully it'll balance out. But such a small camera, I don't think anybody's expecting that new big Fujifilm battery. And like I said, it works out for me. All my Fujifilm cameras take the same battery, but yeah, pretty much expected. One of the things that kept on going back and forth, will we see a new lens? Now, quite honestly, I was kind of looking at the Leica, I forget what it is, but it has an 18 millimeter lens instead of the 35 equivalent, so it would have a little bit of a wider lens. And I was hoping Fujifilm would come out with a wider angle lens. And I don't know if it's just because the iPhones, pretty much it's kind of that standard 18 millimeter equivalent full frame. And no, they're sticking with the 23 millimeter, and it'll be the exact same lens as in the current X100V. So, excuse me, really good lens. And when it came out in the V or the 5, X100V, it was also noted that it was up to the 40 megapixel standard. And I think they had it kind of engineered to be that next generation. So not only was it sharp and there was optical enhancements, but it was also could render that 40 megapixel sensor, which this camera will have. The general look and feel, there's been some early rumors that this camera is going to be bigger, heavier, and I guess they're both true. It is and it isn't. It's basically going to have the same look, the same feel. There were some early pictures where the lens looked like it protruded much more than the X100V. but the rumors have, again, kind of has solidified now that we're getting up to the release, that it's basically, you can't really tell except for it's 1 millimeter wider, a little bit heavier to accommodate the IBIS, but in general, it's basically the overall look and feel of the current X100 camera, which that's good. I think everybody loves that camera, the way it looks, me particularly. The other thing is there was some speculation about, will it have a different color? Will the silver be a different silver than the current version? And that too, it's going to be the same. They're going to have a black and a silver. Maybe we see a special edition. There was some rumors around having a special Disney or some other special edition. I don't know if we'll see it. I doubt we'll see it, but we'll see. The weather sealing, since it is the same lens of the current version of the X100, it's also rumored to have the same weather sealing, meaning it's technically only weather sealed if you have that adapter, basically a UV filter on the front. But that's not a huge thing for me. It'd been nice to have it completely weather sealed, but it does have, somewhat of a weather rating, and I'm not planning to take it out in some huge rainstorm or anything. So that should be fine for me. The single UHS 1 card slot. I would have liked to see him do a UHS 2, but they probably figured that for one, it's going to have one slot. It's a small camera. I don't know if they could fit it. Maybe if they used one as a micro SD, maybe that would have been an option. But most of these aren't professionally used. It's kind of, shooting with your family, which I know some people, including myself, you would want a backup of those too. But I wasn't really expecting it. I wish I would have seen the X100, or not the X100 rather, but the UHS 2. But do I really need clear the buffer that fast? No. And I currently don't own any UHS 2 cards just because they're so expensive. So it's not a big deal. And the UHS 1, higher rated UHS 1 cards, they'll do the 4K 30 and 60 frames per second. And so completely adequate. I would have liked to see it, but I probably still wouldn't buy UHS 2 card anyway. Here are some of the changes. I mentioned some of them already, but IBIS, this is a pretty big one. If it's a fixed prime lens and it's a carry, walk around, do it all lens, for me, you want to just grab some shots of your family, switch over to video and grab some video. Can't really do it too well, video that is, if it's shaky handheld. But with IBIS, hopefully we can pull that off. That's really cool. It's never been really a video camera, but it would be nice to just have it and be able to use it when you're on vacation or on the go. But great to see it. Also, instead of a tripod, you can do those non-moving still shots, and you can pull it down into the lower range as far as the shutter speed goes. So great for lower light. I mentioned the 40 megapixel. It should have the 40 megapixel X-Tran 5, which also has a base ISO of 125. That isn't a big deal for me. I like the 24 megapixel range, but I'll take it. It really isn't any worse in the ISO. Guys, I've been critical for Fujifilm. I would really have liked to see, that 24 to 36 megapixel, but give us a half a stop of light, low light capability. They haven't, but it's the 40 megapixel sensor. The X processor 5, and these go align with the XT5 and all the newer cameras, so it'll be faster autofocus. Hopefully it should be faster for the eye focusing, eye detect, eye tracking, that is. So all of those things that we see in some of the other newer cameras, we should expect the same with the new sensor and the new X processor 5. I mentioned already the classic black and silver. We may see a special release. We'll see. this is a bad thing, made in China. And a lot of the camera companies have moved their production lines to China, of course, because of the cost of production savings. The Fuji X100 has always been made in Japan. Japan's always come with a higher quality. At least that's how I believe, and others believe it to be true as well. And yeah, it's kind of a disappointing thing. I know I think this XT3 was the first camera they start producing Fujifilm in China on the XT series. Now I think they always made the cheaper lines in China, but all of the XTs or X series was in Japan, and that's sad to see. Especially, we're expecting a $200 or more price increase. So currently, I think it's $1350, and the new price is rumored to be like $1550, which is a pretty steep increase. I mean, really only getting IBIS, and that's kind of it. IBIS. I mean, yeah, of course, there's some other things, and I'll go through them, but that's a pretty big steep increase, especially when you're moving production over to China. The Max E shutter, and I believe this also aligns with some of the newer cameras, goes from 180,000 from 1 over 32,000. And this is really if you're trying to get some bokeh, shooting at a low f-stop number, and if it's sunny out, you want to kind of pull things down. And I'm assuming since it has the same lens, it has the same history of the ND filter, I'm assuming it's going to have the ND filter as well. But even then with the ND filter, I know others have, said that they can't really, even with the E shutter, they still could use more. I guess if you're in super bright, I'll take it, but I don't see that being a big benefit. There's rumors around the video. So, you got the IBIS. So it's possible that we'll see a 6K 30. I don't know. It'll probably be not a great quality 6K 30. And it might be for like 15 seconds. I don't know. I'm not interested in 6K. But 4K 60, I'm really only interested in 4K 24, 30 frames. So if I can get IBIS with a decent 4K 30, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. Of course, all the latest film simulations, Fuji always does that, and the newer higher end lines. And that's really it. That's why I said, 200 or so plus more money over the last generation, or I'll say current, but you can't buy one. And you really only get IBIS. So that's kind of it, guys. And if you want one, I recommend, since there's a lot of people waiting for this camera to drop, that you, unfortunately, if you're in the East Coast like me, set your alarms, wake up, pre-order, and you'll be one of the first to get it. And B&H, Adorama, Best Buy maybe too. Usually all of them will have it available. And maybe I'll update this with a link. And I'm not an affiliate with B&H or any of those. I am with Amazon, so maybe Amazon will do camera pre-orders. They usually do, but even if I leave a link for Amazon, note that they're not the fastest in delivery. I did a pre-order once, and everybody had the new cameras, and I think it was like 3 weeks. And I was like the first one or one of the first people to pre-order, and it was like 3 weeks after everybody else was shipping. So just FYI, that's it, guys. Hopefully we'll see it, and I'll finally get one in my hands and be able to show you how I like it and what the capability is of the camera. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night.